In this edition of ABBA magazine, you will see reports from the 23rd and the 24th round. Crvena zvezda is still dominating, while Buducnost is losing pace behind Partizan and Cedevita. And struggle to avoid relegation is still exciting, with FNP, Olympia and Mega a step ahead of Zadar, j.t.d and Krka. Former member of Serbia's youth national teams has become a cornerstone of Olympia, meet Nikola Jankovic. It was a fierce competition to make it to our top 5 list this time, with all the top plays from the past 2 rounds. Welcome to ABBA magazine. Dejan Mihevc and Krka decided to part ways following the team's loss at the hands of Mornar. After 24 rounds, Krka has only 7 wins, and the situation couldn't be any more complicated for the new head coach Simon Petrov. A hometown hero, Petrov spent most of his career as a player in Novo Mesto and won several trophies with Krka, including the Euro Challenge Cup. With his playing days behind him, Petrov coached in Krka's youth teams. He had a short spell at Slovan before he made his way back to Krka's bench, now as a head coach of the senior team. Devon van Ostrom is no longer a member of j.t.d. The British national suffered a knee injury in a Macedonian Cup semi-final. MRI confirmed it was an ACL tear that will keep him off the court for at least 6 months. Club offered all possible assistance, but Van Ostrom opted for a surgical procedure in London. Member of the British national team appeared in only 3 ABBA League games this season, scoring slightly over 8 points per game. j.t.d also decided to part ways with the other member of the British national team, Daniel Clark. Due to Crvena zvezda's busy schedule in EuroLeague, this matchup took place well before the rest of the games in the 23rd round. ABBA League's top-ranked team wasted no time in dismantling Karpos Sokoli 98-61, ending their 8-game win streak at home. This game will be remembered by a fantastic shooting performance of Crvena zvezda, as they went 22 for 24 in the first half and ended the game at 82% for 2 points. In a game like this, Coach Nikolic's team was able to keep up only in the first period, riding the wave of 3-pointers to a minimal lead. As the jump shots kept falling in for Crvena zvezda, Coach Dejan Radonjic watched his team pick up on defense as well, with as many as 13 steals. Their lead kept on growing and received additional padding with some fourth-quarter 3-pointers for a triumphant return from the Macedonian capital. 7 players in red and white jerseys scored in double digits, led by Luka Mitrovic with 15, Kuzmic with 14 and Simonovic with 13. Result shows that the visitors didn't miss the injured Nate Walters, Dangubic and Bjelica much, while the absence of Vrkic, who suffered a serious knee injury and will miss the rest of the season, was heartfelt for the home team. Labovic did all he could for Karpos with 20 points, while Trajkovski added 2 points less. In the final game of the 23rd round, Partizan won at home against Zadar in an 87-86 thriller. In an extremely important game for both teams, Partizan had an extremely short bench. Due to salmonella poisoning during the finals of the Serbian Cup, Coach Džikić and 3 players, Hatcher, Marinkovic and Koprivica, missed this game, and due to illness and injuries, Ratkovic and Karahodžić were absent as well. Gordon sat out the entire game on the bench, while captain Novica Veličković spent only 4 minutes on the court. Rest of the team was visibly exhausted with a tiresome rhythm, but held on to the lead for most of the game. However, the visitors desperately needed a win that would help them avoid relegation and kept the pace up until the very end of the game. They kept the score tight with an excellent 3-point percentage, led by the assistant coach Čanak. Partizan built a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter, but when it seemed all they have to do is coast to another win, Zadar hit the gas pedal and got within 5 with a minute left to play. With 2 consecutive threes from Mike Kovačević, Coach Naglic's team took a 1-point lead. On the next possession, for Partizan, Lukovic's slam dunk turned out to be a dagger, as Kovačević failed to connect on a game winner for Zadar in the final seconds. Zadar was left to look for a win that would help them avoid relegation elsewhere after a 21-7 performance from the game winner Lukovic and the top performance of the entire round from Birčević, who scored 26 points, made 5 3-pointers and added 6 rebounds and 3 steals. Boris Barać had a great game for Zadar with 27 points, 7 rebounds and 3 assists. Cedevita put a cherry on top of winning the Croatian Cup with an away win against the crosstown rival Cibona, 89-85. This was their 17th triumph in the regional competition, solidifying their position behind Crvena zvezda in the standings. Even without Scotty Reynolds, Cibona's players put up a good fight and at the end of the first and the second period held a double-digit lead. Ryan Boatwright made sure Cedevita stayed in the game and got his team within 5 at the halftime with another fantastic performance. Visiting team managed to restore the balance by the end of the third period and sent the game to a dramatic finish. As always, the key player for Coach Veljko Mršić's team was the top scorer Boatwright. His 24 points led the team to another win, with Šurna and Thomas adding 13 apiece. Sulejmanović led the scoring list for Cibona with 21, while Žorić added another 15 points. Cedevita converted 23 of the 26 free throws to cap off an excellent shooting performance. They had them at 73% for 2. 3 consecutive defeats put Union Olympia in a position to have to fight to avoid relegation, but an upset win in Tivoli over Buducnost 81-79 took a load off coach Kasper Okon's shoulders. Home team was extremely motivated after winning the Slovenian National Cup. With their top shooter Mirko Mulalić absent, Nikola Jankovic's inside game became even more important. Buducnost front court couldn't get a hold of him as he dominated on both ends of the court. With the point guard Marcus Williams out of sync, the visitors couldn't find any rhythm on offense. But Reynolds came off the bench to grab the reins and keep Buducnost only 5 points behind at halftime, 45-40. In the third period, Jefferson teamed up with Jankovic for a game-high 10-point lead for Olympia, but Reynolds made 3 threes in a row to bring Buducnost within 2 by the end of this period. We were in for an exciting final stretch as Buducnost took the lead with a 3 from Popovic with 3 minutes left on the clock. Jankovic responded and with 5 consecutive points made sure his team got the 10th win that guarantees a spot in the ABA League next season. With a heartbreaking loss, Buducnost slips further away from the second place with a win less than both competitors, Partizan and Cedevita. Jankovic and Jefferson scored 24 points each for Olympia, with the Serbian center grabbing 11 rebounds as well. Reynolds led all scorers for Buducnost with 17 points. Nikola Jankovic has so far been Olympia's best player this season. 23-year-old center born in Vranje played for all junior categories of the Serbian national team and moved to Belgium as a teenager, where he played for Charleroi and Pepinster. He won the Radivoje Korać Cup last year with Mega Leks and led the team to ABA League finals. Just last summer he signed up to play with Union Olympia. It was very difficult playing away from your home without friends and family, using a completely different language in a new environment. Honestly, it took me some time to adjust to life over there. But after a year it got easier for me once I got into the tempo of working and practicing and speaking the language. So first year was difficult, but second and third were very good. Jankovic talks about the season spent at Mega playing for coach Dejan Milojevic. So far that was the best year in my career and in club's history. We had a great atmosphere and bonded as a team. I really enjoyed that year with Mega Leks. All came together with us winning the cup and making it to the ABA League finals. And I think that was a very successful season. Working with Coach Dejan meant a lot to me because he really likes basketball and it isn't about only working with big men. He has vast knowledge about the position, but he's as good with the guards and he helped me understand team concept as well. That year was a great experience for me.
Mi jako puno pomogao I u timskoj igri, jedno lepo iskustvo za mene te godine.
Are you happy with Olympia's performance this season?
Za sada prezadovoljan.
So far, I'm honestly more than satisfied. It could have been better in ABA League since we lost 5 games within a point. But all in all, we do have a goal regarding national championship and so far, everything is on track. Olympia just won the Slovenian Cup, so the goal is the double crown. After the Cup, our next goal is the title. It won't be easy since there are quite a few good teams and I think it will be very interesting. Plans for the future? I'm focused on finishing this season in the best possible way and we will see what will happen this summer. Mega Leks defeated Mornar for the second time this season, this time in Topolica Hall in Bar. An 89-81 win, most likely assured we would see Mega Leks in ABA League next season as well. Visiting team's coach Dejan Milojevic couldn't count on Radovan Đokovic, Vlatko Čančar, Ognjen Čarapić and Predrag Samardžiski, while Mornar had all players available. Still without a win on the road, Mornar hoped for another one at home, and led by Jones and Pavic took a 6-point lead at the end of the first period. Coach Đorđe Pavicevic's team managed to hold on to the lead during the second period, but Rade Zagorac started Mega's 11-2 run just before the end of the first half to tie the game at halftime 44-44. In the crucial third period, youngest team in the league played strong defense and forced a lot of turnovers, and with easy points in transition, raced to a double-digit lead. Mega scored 26 and allowed only 11 points in the third quarter for a convincing 15-point lead, 70-55. All that the team from Bar managed to do in the fourth quarter was to soften the blow. Mega's 9th win this season came with 21 points by Ognjen Jaramas, who missed only twice from the field, and 13 from Marelja. Mornar couldn't avoid another loss, despite 14 points from Jones. A loss to Igokea in Laktaši 85-72 brought Krka to a difficult spot. Team from Novo Mesto managed to come back from a 15-point first quarter deficit and tied the game at the halftime 38-38, but couldn't avoid its 16th defeat this season. With an incredible 20-0 scoring run in the third period, Igokea secured the win. That hole was simply too deep for Krka to claw back from. Krka was defeated despite the fact they made 11 three-pointers and held down turnovers to just 5. Marko Lukovic was once again the top scorer with 17 points, while Matic Rebec added another 14 along with 7 assists. Radivojevic scored 17 points for the winners and needed just 19 minutes of playing time. Robinson added 1 less with 6 assists, while Pašalić and Milošević chipped in with 14 points each. In Železnik, FNP made it look easy against MZT, winning 101-82 and most likely booking a spot in the ABA League next season. MZT came to Belgrade severely weakened and still shell-shocked from a semi-final loss in the Macedonian Cup. Coach Ante Nazor couldn't count on Stefan Sinovec and Devan Van Ostrom, and the short-handed rotation at guard positions influenced this game in a great deal. Coach Branko Maksimovic's team struggled on offense early on, but Filip Čović got his team up and running. Isaiah Austin had a great first half. He needed only 8 minutes to score 10 points and made 2 three-pointers. FNP had a 7-point lead at the halftime, which they increased in the third period with a 9-0 run and held on to a double-digit lead until the end of the game. Home team played the entire second half without its best player Filip Čović, who got a nasty hit at the beginning of the third period and sat out the rest of the game. Marko Ljubicic took over and with the help of Dragan Apic and Austin finished off his former team. MZT had 18 turnovers and made only 4 of 17 three-pointers, missing 7 free throws as well. Austin was the top scorer for the winners with 20 points. Apic scored 17 and grabbed 9 rebounds, while Ljubicic added 15 points. MZT will have to dig deep to avoid relegation in the final round, despite a brilliant game by Josh Scott, who made all of his shots on the way to 26 points and grabbed 10 rebounds as well. In the clash of the Serbian and Slovenian National Cups trophy holders, the outcome was clear from the start. Crvena Zvezda delighted its fans with a win against Olympia 88-67, even with Dangubic, Kuduric and Jovic sidelined with injuries. Home team practically won the game in the third minute when the score was 12-0. EuroLeague member had a plus 17 in the first period, and the visitors from Ljubljana, weakened by absence of Oliver, couldn't get any closer. Game high lead for coach Dejan Radonjic's team was 30, and visitors led by Jankovic, who ended the game with 16, and Milosevic with 2 points less, managed to only soften the loss. In great shooting night for Crvena Zvezda with 11 successful 3-point attempts, top scorer was Rakicevic with 14, while Walters scored 12, and Simonic and Bjelica got 11 each. Red and Whites got their 23rd triumph, while Gasper Okorn's team is still at 10 wins this season. In one of the derbies of the round, the depleted Partizan squad pulled off a win against Mega Leks 87-80 in Sremska Mitrovica and stayed in the hunt for the second place and a step ahead of the fourth place Buducnost. Audience in Pinky Hall enjoyed an exciting rematch of the National Cup semi-final that went the black and white's way as well. Turnovers were an issue for Partizan, especially in the first half, but they compensated with great shooting percentage. On the other end, Mega managed to score from pressure and steals, but had a lot of problems scoring in set offense. After an opening run, Partizan held on to the lead, but all the way until the last period, it never went over 6 points. In the final stretch, Black and Whites managed to make a break, but Mega came back with a 9-0 run and had a 2-point lead with 3.5 minutes left to play. But Stefan Pot sparked a run of 12 points for Partizan. He was assisted by Birčević and Andrić on the way to a very first double-digit lead for any of the teams. Stefan Pot ended the game with 15 points, 8 assists and 4 rebounds. Clock ran out on coach Dejan Milovic's team, and Partizan, despite all the problems plaguing the team, extended its winning streak. Birčević and Andrić scored 20 points each, while on the other end Kaba scored 18, while Zagorac added 2 points less. In a crucial game to avoid relegation, Mornar took down Krka in Novo Mesto 72-63. This was an extremely important victory for the visiting team from Bar that came with a second half comeback. In first 2 periods, team led by coach Pavicevic couldn't find a hot hand and scored only 19 points. Luckily for them, the home team wasn't playing any better and held a 5-point lead at the halftime in Leon Štukelj Hall. Key moment in this game happened in the third period, in which the league's debutants went from being down 9 to up by 8. Most efficient player in this period was Ty Waller with 21 points. Mornar scored more points in the third quarter than the entire first half. Krka kept turning the ball over, digging their grave a little deeper, and when Mornar went up by 16, their fate was sealed. Ellis scored 11 points, while Jones added 10 for Mornar's 8th win this season. Curry's 13 points wasn't enough for Krka, that remains glued to the bottom of the table with 7 wins so far, and is heading to a tough battle to avoid relegation in final 2 rounds with a new head coach Simon Petrov, since management decided to replace Dejan Mihevc after the game. Cedevita wasn't dominant in a duel with Karpos, but still got what it wanted. An 81-77 win brought them closer to clinching the second place and the home field advantage in the semi-finals. Coach Veljko Mršic's team started the game slow and visitors from Skopje took advantage and controlled the result with an excellent three-point shooting. Winner of the Krešimir Ćosić Cup took their first lead in the 16th minute, but it was short-lived, and after first two periods, Coach Dragan Nikolić's team had a three-point lead. Winner of the Macedonian Cup led throughout the third period, but a 9-0 run, mostly through Marko Arapović, gave the lead to Cedevita entering the fourth quarter. Member of the junior national team of Croatia was the leading scorer with 16 points. Karpos wouldn't give up and had a chance but couldn't come up with a game winner. Another masterful game by Dragan Labović, who scored 27 points as he went 6 for 8 for 3 points, and 18 points from Mavra weren't enough to upset Cedevita for the second time. Bilan had 14 points for the winners and Krušlin and Boatwright added 10 points each. Buducnost shook off the bitter defeat in Ljubljana to beat FNP 93-84 at home. Coach Zuro's team still had a chance to end the season above fourth place if Cedevita or Partizan loses in the last two rounds. A game filled with turnovers and missed three-pointers was ultimately won by the home team's better two-point and free-throw conversion rate. Team from Podgorica held the lead for the most of the game and was up by 13 in the third, only to stop and allow the opponent to make a big run and get within two before the start of the fourth quarter. Montenegro's National Cup winners played with more energy on defense and forced a lot of turnovers to stay ahead of their opponent. Sabovic scored 19 points, Reynolds added 13, as much as Williams, who also had 7 assists and 7 rebounds. In Coach Maksimovic's team that avoided relegation a round earlier, better than the rest were Bolden with 21 points and 13 rebounds, and Ljubicic with 16 points and 7 assists. Importance of the game and the fact that the win would guarantee a spot in the league next season seemed to weigh too heavily on MZT's players against Igokea. Visiting team won 71-67 in a game that had a lot in common with the team from Skopje's season so far, with a lot of ups and downs. From 9 down in the first period, MZT got within a point and then allowed Igokea to get away. But at that moment, Coach Dragan Bajic's team got nervous and let MZT get within 40-38 at the halftime. In the fourth period, Igokea had a +7 thanks to a buzzer beater by Stefan Mitrovic at the end of the third period. But after visitors failed to score for over 6 minutes, MZT made a comeback and with a 10-0 run took the lead for the first time. In a dramatic finish, missed free throws cost MZT dearly, 2 from Klav and 2 from Drenovac. In 3 minutes, Igokea scored 13 points and got their 12th win of the season. Mitrovic led all scorers with 20 points. 16 points by Drenovac and 15 by Thames were not enough for MZT to avoid 16th defeat this season, so they will have to continue the fight to avoid relegation in the next 2 rounds against Buducnost in Podgorica and Mornar in Skopje. At the 5th spot of our list of 2 rounds of best moves, Vladovic and Marinkovic with an alley-up in Belgrade. At number 4, Devin Oliver from Olympia puts 2 players on a poster. At number 3, an alley-oop from Ljubicic to John Bolden. Rade Zagorac with a slam dunk for the second place on our list. Aleksej Ilić once again demonstrated his incredible athleticism and rises up to the top of our list. You've watched another edition of ABBA Magazine. See you next week after the 25th round.